It is day 6 of MSI with coverage brought to you by OnePlus. I'm joined right now by Fudge, who's just pushed Golden Guardians out of the tournament so that they can advance on the Cloud9 side. So, Fudge, first off, I saw in the interview on stage that you did that you thought you were a little surprised that it was not more competitive. What gave you so much confidence in Golden Guardians going into this match?
Honestly, I think they've been looking pretty good throughout this tournament, and they were able to take like one game of BLG, and we weren't, right? And we looked pretty bad in our mid games, especially against BLG. So I wasn't super confident in our own play, but they also looked like they improved quite a bit. So I thought it would be pretty close, and it wasn't like super stompy or anything, but I just thought that it would probably go to 5 games, to be honest. And game 4 and I would say game 1 were quite clean from us in general. Game 2 and 3, you could argue, a bit sloppy.
Do you think that's just because you have Golden Guardians number after playing them for so many months, or like, why is it that if this team leveled up, you guys were still able to pretty confidently take them down?
I think we still have quite a bit of confidence against Golden Guardians, despite like clearly like the results showing that we're not that much better than them. And I think when you have that sort of confidence going into games, you just execute your plans a lot quicker and with way more decisiveness. And I think that generally leads to them not being ready for it, or it just going well for you if it's actually good, and you have more trust in your own thoughts, your own abilities. So I think that definitely helps a lot when you're playing against a team you think you're better than.
He's sitting on the other side of this room, but I'm curious what your take is on Licorice after this event, because I think he's been getting a ton of praise from the broadcast. You as a top laner oftentimes have a lot of opinions about other top laners, especially the LCS. So what do you think of him over the course of this tournament?
I think he's improved a lot, and he's been playing pretty solid throughout the entire tournament. I don't think he's better than any of the Korean or Chinese top laners, obviously, but I don't think any Western top laner is, to be honest. So I think he definitely improved a lot. I think it's very impressive that he was able to go from like sort of a bad period in his career and then come to international again, and all of a sudden he looked pretty solid. And you could argue if maybe he had a better team that he would have won some of those games that he lost, you know. So I think he's been playing really well, and I think it's really impressive. So I hope he continues to try really hard and continue to be a top lane in the NA LCS.
What do you think of your own performance in the tournament? Because I've seen some critics online, also some supporters. How do you think you're measuring up against some of these other players?
I mean, I think the first series I played against BLG, I think Ben is very clearly like better than me. So I think I didn't perform very well in that series. I think for this series against GGS, all 3 of the first 3 games I was playing matchups where I can't actually do anything like at all. I think I definitely misplayed in mid games where I got caught a couple times on Gragas in a couple of the games, and I didn't play super well in terms of team fighting in like the Jace game, for example, where I got caught. I was like over positioned too far forward and got caught. But I would say that I think a lot of like, for example, in the BLG series, I think that Ben definitely played better than me in laning phase. But most of what happened that made us lose the game was from our mid-game mistakes where he got like side waves and then I overgrouped and then he got really far ahead and then it's like really, really bad. It's not like I'm just getting absolutely stomped in laning phase. So I wouldn't say I'm playing well, but I do think that it looks worse than it actually is because I'm playing a lot of the time losing matchups where I'm playing tanks versus carries in the majority of the games.
All right, so you move on to the tournament. There are less and less Western teams now. What do you think your chances are, Cloud9's chances are, in the next stage?
I mean, I think we're playing against Gen G, right? And they're obviously a very, very good team. So I'm not going to say that we're going to shit on them or anything because we're definitely going to be a close series. And, well, we're hoping for a close series. Obviously, they're considered to be the huge favors, and they probably expected to 3-0 us. But I think that they haven't looked like super clean, even against T1. I don't think they were super clean. And they played against, I think it was G2, and they didn't actually look like I think they were the only team that lost a game. Was it against G2? Was it Gen G G2? I think it was.
I think no.
Matt T1 Gen
No,
G2.
you're right. You're right.
Yeah, Matt T1 Gen G2. I think they actually lost the game to G2, and we've been screaming G2, and they're good, but I think that we are similar skill level to G2. So, you never know. They might lose 3 games in a row playing poorly like that. So we're definitely not thinking that we just lost, and we're just going to keep trying to scrim for the next couple of days before we play on the 17th, I believe it is, and try to get some good drafts, hopefully.
Now, there's been some news that a friend of yours, somebody who you really enjoy, named Tenacity, another top laner, is not going to be competing professionally, at least for the time being, is going into content creation. What was your reaction when you heard this?
Well, I remember hearing before I heard anything from him that he might be getting replaced, and this was a while ago, and I think he didn't even know anything about it. And then when I heard that it's likely gonna happen, I was a bit worried for him because he was on tank duty basically most of the split, so he didn't really look very good. Because when you're on tank duty, you generally can't really look really good. You either look average or you look bad because you're really far behind because your team's bad. So I didn't think he had a very good chance of joining another good LCS team. If he were to join another LCS team other than 100 Thieves, he'd probably join a really low tier one, and I don't think he wanted to. Yeah. So he decided, and also generally there's been a lot of talk about how the LCS is sort of dying, to be honest. So he might just think that going into content creation, he's good friends with LS, moving to Korea with LS and just doing content creation. He's obviously a good-looking guy. He's going to go on TikTok. He's going to get millions of views probably if it was on one TikTok looking like Vinny Hacker. So hopefully he does well in content creation. I'm not sure if he has a very good plan, and I think he needs to learn Korean. But hopefully he can do what's needed.
Okay, well, let's move into that part of the conversation then. So the news broke, obviously, that Riot no longer requiring the teams to field NACL teams. I think you made a tweet expressing disappointment in this. Anything you want to expand on now in this moment?
I think that all 10 owners voted to make it optional, and from what I heard, it's all through. Basically, they're saying that they don't have the budget, and if I'm being completely honest, well, we went through a lot of data and found out that one LCS player is worth 5 academy players in terms of salary, in terms of costs. The reality is that you could remove 50K from each LCS player's salary and put it into academy, and the LCS players would stay, very, very likely. Yeah. And I think it's a bit ridiculous to say that you can't afford it no matter what. I do know some teams aren't actually going to get rid of their academy team. I think C9 is going to keep their academy team. But I just think that the argument of money, I think that they've been wasting a lot of money in other places. So I'm not sure if I completely agree with that. Obviously, I don't know every single team's finances, so I'm just sort of speculating. Sure. But I do think that LCS players' salaries are sort of inflated, to be honest, including mine, including all my teammates, including everyone pretty much in the league except for the ones on minimum, probably. So I think that academy is basically necessary for the league to be. Well, LCS says it's going to be a multi-generational esport, blah, 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 like League of Legends is, and I'm like, if you do this for NA, it's not going to be multi-generational. It's literally this generation and we're done. So I'm hoping that something gets changed about that.
Do you feel like the players can do much in response to this? Because I think a lot of people see the Players Association expressing frustration in this, and then the community kind of reacts and is like, okay, well, players are going to complain, and then this will just happen, and nothing will come of it. And there's a hope or a desire that players could actually, stand up or be more vocal or do something. I think a lot of us, including myself, are somewhat skeptical that enough players care about something like this, right? I think you've said in the past, even in interviews with me, and I think maybe Sven as well, about how selfish the players could be, just kind of focusing on themselves. So I guess what's your impression of the LCS player base and their capacity to stand up or care about this?
The sad part is that I think that most of the players actually don't care about Academy, especially the LCS players don't actually care about Academy. They don't care about it enough to the point where we would probably need to come together and really go against it. Not even maybe even say oh, we might not want to play if this happens, because you're just ruining the league, and you would need majority of players to do that, and the reality is that most players don't care, so it's really hard to be able to do that. But I'm hoping that with enough outreach from the Players Association that we can convince the players who are probably indifferent about it to, make some action and help the league in the long term and help the players and all the staff who are going to lose all their jobs and basically have been trying for years and years to try to get to these positions, and all of a sudden they're just all gone after like a week.
Well, I think we're running low on time, unfortunately. So is there anything you want to say to any of the fans out there?
I know probably most fans don't think I'm playing too well, but I will try to play a lot better against Gen G, and I will shit on Doran. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the interview. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things MSI right here on my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching that interview. Hope you really appreciate my MSI coverage, and if you do, you should also appreciate OnePlus for sending me out here. This is the OnePlus 11, which is now available. It's an amazing phone with a lot of really cool features for gamers, which it's just been really fun for them to send me this phone and for me to check it out. It's got an amazing camera system and so much more. And if you would like to check it out, one, you can go to the link in the description below, but also I've got an extra one. They sent me an extra one of these things. It's again, a really cool phone, and I'm going to be giving it out to one of you. So we're going to be doing a giveaway. Check my Twitter for more information on that. We're going to be doing it over the course of the event, but thank you so much to OnePlus for hooking me up, and hopefully we can hook you up too if you end up winning the giveaway. But either way, thank you so much to OnePlus, and thanks for watching my video.